Hello and welcome to All Around Annapolis. I'm your host, Rhonda Wardlaw. If you know the name Caryl P. Weiss, it might be associated with the United States Coast Guard Auxiliary. We've interviewed her several times here for that reason. However, today we bring Caryl back under a different title. This one of our friends that plays over 500 years of music, not necessarily all at one time, but if you ask her, she'll tell you, sang there, played that. Good to have you with us today,
Thank
Caryl.
you, Ron. It's a pleasure to be back under different circumstances.
I know. We love that.
Not in uniform.
Exactly. Different uniform, different style, different structure. Now, what I love about what we're going to do today is really a lot of people, you know, okay, what kind of music do you play? Pop, hip-hop, classical. But we're going to talk about things like sea shanties. I love that kind of stuff. Tell me how somebody gets into playing sea shanties.
Well, sea shanties are just part of folk music. It's the music that the people made. And of course, living in a nautical town, you can't escape sea shanties. These were the work songs of the sea that the sailors sang to make the work a little bit easier and to set the rhythm, the cadence, so that they could work to. But that's just one part of folk music, one little slice. It's only about 50 years of history from about the 1830s to 1880s. The rest of it's all American and British folk music and songs of the southern Appalachian Mountains and different instruments that we play around around the neighborhoods and throughout the years.
Your talent spans 500 years of music. That's
right, so it doesn't just cover sea shanties.
Absolutely.
Right.
I mean, honestly, a lot of people will find a genre or a niche and kind of stick to that. Tell me why your interest takes you so many different directions.
My motto is the more you love music, the more music you love.
Nice.
So I've played classical, I've played jazz, I've played rock, I've played country. But if you look at folk music, there's just so much throughout the years. I mean, a lot of people, when you say folk music, they think, oh, Joan Baez in the 60s and protest songs. And that was folk music in that era. And I think if they brought the draft back, there'd be a lot of protest songs suddenly written, you know? And the kids today don't have to worry about the draft, and so they have it pretty easy. Not like when I was in high school. Right. And they were just plucking them out of the classroom, throwing them into the Army and sending them to Vietnam.
Right. When you talk, though, about the folk music, how many different instruments do you play when playing folk music?
Guitar, banjo, mandolin, dulcimer, bass, auto harp, concertina, tin whistle. My problem is I see something and I want to play it, and then I play it and I want one. And
I love it. Now,
it's a house full of instruments.
Being from Scotland and being a true Scot, second generation United States citizen, the bagpipes, I was pleased to know that you play.
I played them for a while. When I was in college, I was in the theater group, and they did this show, The Hasty Heart.
Okay.
And I had an acting part in it, but they said, oh, we need some real Scottish music for the beginning of the show. And somebody said, why don't you come out in a kilt and play the bagpipes and just kind of walk across the stage for 20 seconds? So, okay. So I went to one of the music stores and borrowed a set of bagpipes so I could learn.
Oh, my goodness.
And I brought them home, and my dad said, you play them in the house, they're getting wrapped around your neck.
Not a big fan, I guess.
Well, they don't call them the war pipes for nothing.
Right.
Actually, the interesting thing, one of the interesting things about the bagpipes is it's the only instrument, I don't know if this is still true, but it used to be the only instrument that you can import into the United States and not have to pay a duty on, because it's an instrument of war and not a musical instrument, according to what the United States law was on customs at that point. And I don't know if that's still true or not. That was about 20 years ago.
But I like the story.
Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting.
Well,
Very
they'd use these pipes to rouse the men to go fight. What did we have in our Revolutionary War? We had a fife and drum corps.
Absolutely, absolutely. But the drums were what were frightening.
The drums were very frightening,
yeah.
But you play those bagpipes and everybody turns around and pays attention.
And if you play the bagpipes very badly, it's also very frightening.
Well, fiddle too. I mean, that's a real good way to find out who your friends are. About the second week you're playing the violin.
Well, and you played so many places. Alaska to what? Australia?
Austria.
Austria, really? Yeah. Now tell me what takes you. Do you get calls to do these concerts?
I was playing with an old American old-timey band that led square dances.
Okay.
And they had been to Europe quite a number of times, and their guitar, I started out as their bass player, and then their guitar player had to quit because his wife wanted him to stay home and raise children, and so they needed a guitar player, and they said, well, you already know the music, so why don't you come in and play guitar with us? So I got to go to Europe with him a few times and played in Italy, Austria, Germany, France, Switzerland, Denmark, and Holland.
Wow.
And in fact, strangest thing, you never know where you're famous.
Okay.
I'm not famous, you know, but you never know what's going to happen. And we were playing at the Vienna Folk Festival, and a fellow came over and said, "Wait right here, don't move. I have somebody I want you to meet." So the band's standing there, and they bring this fellow over, and they said to the head of the band, Peter Tawney, "This is Paul Erik Sorensen from Radio Denmark." And the guy said, "This is Peter Tawney from the Juggernaut String Band." And Peter said, "This is my wife, Janet Bregman Tawney, and this is our guitar player for this trip, Caryl Weiss." And he looks at me, he says, "Caryl P. Weiss?" I went, I mean, I'm in Austria. I've never been to Austria before, and he's from Denmark, and I've never been to Denmark. He said, "I don't know if you know it or not, but you're a big star in Denmark." I said, "What?" And he said, "Your record company sent us a single that you recorded." And I thought, I am my record company. and he said, "They love your music. How would you guys like to play at the Roskilde Festival in Denmark next year?" And that's 65,000 people. Wow. And Peter goes, "Okay."
Yeah, right. No
so that started our tour over there. We ended up in Denmark and Holland, and I had no idea anybody even knew me. And I was there just as the guitar player for that band, and we came out on stage, and Peter introduced me, and everybody stood up. I'm applauding. I thought, this is embarrassing because I'm with them.
This is embarrassing. You're so modest. That's so funny.
Well, you know, when you're playing with another band, it's all about them. I'm just the guitar player in the band.
But let's talk about when you're not. You not only play various shows, but you play various characters. Let's talk a little bit about that. Or don't you? I thought like when you have names for like when you're doing your sea shanties.
Well, I do the sea shanty thing, you know, and
can you tell I love the sea shanty theme? We're gonna get her to play some.
She's stuck on the shanties.
I love it.
You know, I'm a commissioned admiral in the Texas Navy, which is an honor. You have to be commissioned by the governor of Texas, which Ann Richards was the one who inducted me. And which is, first of all, for being a non-native Texan, it was an unusual thing. And for being a woman, it was extremely rare for women to be commissioned admirals. So sometimes they want you to dress up, so I put on my 1830s admiral's uniform and prance about the decks
so I'm
of the
not
tall
crazy.
ship Alyssa down in Galveston.
I've seen some of these pictures.
You've seen some of the pictures, yeah. I mean, sometimes I'm asked to do costume things. I don't do pirate things, you know. I mean, the skull and crossbones flag on boats used to signify pirates, and today it signifies drunks.
Oh, that's true. We don't want that with.
No. Oh, absolutely.
No.
We never talk about rum in sea shanties.
Well, now again, what instrument would you play it with? The banjo or what?
If I were doing a sea song program, I generally take a banjo and a concertina because those were some of the traditional instruments that were played. Although normally sea shanties were sung a cappella.
Okay. Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and they had a shanty singer who was hired on board specifically to lead the different types of shanties that the men would sing while they were working.
Okay.
So there were the halyard shanties for raising sail, and they had very strong rhythms. And in the choruses, they'd haul on the lines to raise the yards.
Sure.
And they had the capstan shanties where they'd walk around a big thing, looks like a spool with sticks, pawls stuck in them, and they'd use this to raise the anchor. It's like a ratchet.
Okay.
And it would take sometimes up to 6 hours to do that, and it's a very slow thing as they walk around, and the shanty man would sit on the capstan and just sing and get spun around slowly for hours, and he had to entertain the men to keep them working and set these rhythms, and some of the verses were not the cleanest in the world, you know, and they chime in. And then also the pumping shanties, because you had to pump the water out of the bilges. And imagine going like this for 2 hours of your 4 hours on watch.
Wow.
You know.
Can you imagine the biceps?
Exactly. Exactly. Now, the other thing is that the men could say anything nasty they wanted to about the captain or any of the officers, provided it was in song while they were working. Captain didn't care as long as they were working. And that's the way they would release their frustrations.
Better than a mutiny. So.
Oh, a heck of a lot better. A lot cheaper.
Can you give us a little bit of an idea? Because I'm kind of stuck on the shanty thing.
You are stuck on the shanty.
I don't know why. I just find it fascinating.
I could do your whole program just on that. Let's see. I'm not prepared for this, so I will prepare myself. Wait, I'm getting prepared. There's a shanty that you know, but you probably didn't know it was an actual shanty, but it came onto land.
Talk about your multitasker.
And it goes, oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Hoorah, you rolling river. Oh, Shenandoah, I long to see you. Oh, way, we're bound our way across the wide Missouri. And this is a capstan shanty that they'd sing slowly as they walked around this capstan, raising anchor or warping the ship alongside.
And thinking of home and getting people to, oh, wow. Yeah. Now, when you said that about the pirate, you know, you do, you know, right. What, can you give us an example of a faster paced one or something that they might do as they're pulling the sails? Am I making you work too hard?
Give me a second. I'm trying to think one that I can do. Okay, the call and response they would do.
Okay.
And so
this is participation time.
That's right. So the shanty man would lead this, and then the men would haul on these lines. The shanty man would yell out, "Me boots and clothes are all in pawn," and you guys would go, "Go down, you blood red roses, go down." And you see on those strong rhythms, that's when they'd pull. And it's mighty drafty round Cape Horn. Go down, you blood red roses, go down. Okay. All you pinks and posies, go down, you blood red roses, go down.
Is it blood red roses?
Blood red roses,
okay.
Yeah. And that's the type of song that had that strong rhythm, and they pull on those. And it's a lot easier than going 1, 2, 3, pull.
Well,
1, 2, 3, pull. It's just
right?
boring.
Yeah, it's kind of like a jodi for a military.
Yeah, and it's when they're marching in rhythm, you know.
Right, exactly. And I don't know if this is true, you're military, I'm not, but I was also told that it expels, you know, the carbon so that you can, you know, breathe deeper and heavier and get more oxygen.
Sure. Which is something, you know, on the ships, you have to remember that in that era, these guys are living below decks, and they had some of the decks, like the gun decks, you couldn't even stand up without banging your head. And they had guns going off, and they had gunpowder that they were inhaling. They were all deaf if you were on a warship. If you're on a merchant ship, you still had people crammed in down below with very little air, no air conditioning, of course, no heat. There was a lot of illness. There was a lot of scurvy. And the Royal Navy were the ones who figured out that if you eat lime, you put a little lime. They didn't know about vitamin C, ascorbic acid, you know, all that stuff.
Right.
That you would, it would fight scurvy. And that's how the British became known as limeys, from eating the limes. I knew you were going to love that.
I did not know that. I love your stories. That is amazing.
I've got great ones for you. Okay.
Give me more.
I got to give you more nautical stuff. This is totally not what we were going to do.
But it's fun because it does have to do with
if you notice, when you see other navies coming into town, which they do occasionally, they all wear 3 stripes on their collars and their cuffs when they wear those midi shirts. Do you know what the 3 stripes are for? It's in honor of the 3 major battles that Lord Nelson won before meeting his demise at the Battle of Trafalgar, which they won, although he was killed there. So because they said he was probably the greatest tactician when it came to warships. Out in his honor, they would do that. Now, the midi shirts have the removable, have the collars on the back, the big collars. Do you know why? I gave part of it away. They were removable originally. When you signed on board a ship, you would get 2 shirts and 3 collars. The American sailors back then would wear their hair in a ponytail. And it would come out of the wraps and blow all over the place. They didn't have mousse, they didn't have Brill cream back then. They would run their hands on the rigging. They put tar on the rigging to keep it from fraying. And they would run their hands on this rigging and go like this, and they'd get tar in their hair, which is how they came upon the nickname Old Jack Tar for a sailor. And in the warmer climates, the tar would drip off of their hair and onto the shirts. So they put collars on, because in the tropics, of course, if you hang something up to dry, it's not going to dry for a few days. So all they had to do was take the collar off and scrub it and hang it off and put another collar on. You're amazing. I love it. Play us some Navy music, something that would be kind of in this theme now that we're talking about our midshipmen and all of the... I have a song that I wrote for the Schooner Woodwind. Would you like that? A contemporary one? Yes. Okay. Totally not what we had prepared. Makes it more fun, doesn't it? It's a concert and I'm the audience. I could give you a whole 2 hours on this.
Sounds like I felt this morning.
Exactly. Getting to tune here. And it goes like this. I don't know if you've ever, have you been on woodwind?
I have not.
Oh, you must go out on woodwind. Woodwind is, it's a wonderful experience. Everybody gets a turn at the helm.
Oh, lovely.
And you know, every year either almost every year she wins or takes line honors in the Great Chesapeake Bay Schooner race. She's very fast. She's very light for her length.
Yes.
So I was so impressed by this that I had to write a song about it.
Well, this is
and it goes like this. What's that sight of grace and beauty tacking across the bay? Staysail schooner rig, she's swiftly on her way. Pride of dear Annapolis, and with her noble crew, quickly passing older boats and new. She's the woodwind, running free, all the way to the windward and lee. She's the woodwind, heartily, let her go, running free. Hear her hull, it comes alive, and how her rigging laughs. Sails they wave goodbye as she passes all the gaffs. Here out on the Chesapeake amid the schooner race, she's the one that always sets the pace. As she's the woodwind, running free, all the way to the windward and lee. She's the woodwind, heartily, let her go, running free. Strut your stuff in Ego Alley, nothing can compare. Nothing is as sleek, no, nothing is as fair. As she's the woodwind, running free, all the way to the windward and lee. She's the woodwind, heartily, let her go, running free. She's the woodwind, running free, all the way. She's the woodwind, heartily, let her go, running free. Let her go, running free. Let her go, she's the woodwind.
That is amazing, Caryl.
It just comes.
When you are on the ship, or on the boat, do they know that song was written?
Oh yeah, they had it on their website for a while, and it might be back up. I haven't checked lately.
Outstanding. Yeah, well, let's talk a little bit about the different instruments. Obviously, you're not going to play a song like that on a dulcimer. And tell me the difference between the ages of the instruments.
Well, it's different styles. The banjo really goes way back hundreds of years.
Okay.
And Bela Fleck, you know Bela Fleck, the wonderful bluegrass banjo player, did a documentary a few years back where he went to Africa, 5 different towns in Africa, countries in Africa, to try to trace the origin of the banjo.
Okay.
Here we have these modern banjos. The one he plays, the bluegrass style, has a resonator, a back on it, so it makes it very loud. This is an open back one that is a little bit softer for playing softer folk music and old-timey music. And there are different styles of playing. If you notice when he plays off the fronts of his fingers.
Okay.
So he'll do a lot of rolls.
Okay.
And things like that. And it's more of a picking style. The style that I play, the old-timey style, I'm playing off the backs of my fingers.
Okay.
And I catch the 5th string, the drone string here, and I'll drop my thumb, which is called clawhammer style.
Okay.
So originally these banjos, as we know it, the modern banjos had 4 strings, didn't have the 5th string.
Okay.
This is a relatively recent invention from the mid-1800s, so they put this drone string partway up the neck. And it was designed by an American, so this makes this banjo one of the 2 traditional American instruments that there are. So Balin went over to Africa to try to trace the origin, and he ended up finding a man who had, or a town where they had these skinheads on a gourd with a stick just slammed into it, had 3 strings. And I'm watching the guy playing, he's playing clawhammer. He actually dropped his thumb. He wasn't playing in a modern style. And I was stunned to see that that's what we're playing today in the same way. So we actually did trace it back to thousands of years ago when they would play that. And they say that if you make a musical instrument out of an animal using an animal skin, that the soul of the animal lives on in the instrument, which is pretty cool.
That is.
So
you said that the banjo is one of two.
One of two.
What's the other one?
Exactly. Well, funny you should mention. I happen to bring one with me. It's the Appalachian lap dulcimer.
Oh.
That's this little creature here.
Honestly, I did not know that was the other one. I knew that there was a dulcimer here, but I didn't know that's why.
This instrument, there are two basic styles. This is the hourglass instrument. It comes from the zither family, and it traces its origins back to Germany. When the folks came over here from Europe in the 1800s and mid-1800s, they really didn't have a chance to bring their instruments with them. They could grab their whatever clothes they could carry on their back and maybe a couple of pots and pans, but oftentimes they had to leave their instruments behind. So they had to try to remember what the instruments were like so they could reproduce them here. And this was the simplest form. I've seen 3-string, 4-string, 5-string, 6-string models. This one has a double melody string. But the interesting thing about this, and this is a more modern version, it has an extra fret in here so you can go into all 8 different modal tunings. But for the most part, it's a very simple instrument in that each of these frets is a whole note instead of a half note, your sharps and flats on the piano. And you can use different tunings. But for example, so each one's a whole note except for, as I said, the extra one that's in here. So it's a very simple instrument to learn how to play and to play. And also you can get really neat kits to make these things. If you have kids, there are companies that make cardboard dulcimer kits.
Wow.
That aren't very expensive, so the kids can build their own instrument and have an instrument of their own to play, which is really nice. You can buy wood kits too, which are a little more expensive. Or you can buy them that are pre-made and spend anywhere from $150 to thousands of dollars on them.
Sure. Now, how old is this particular one that you're holding?
This one is from 1971. It was made by the McSpadden Company down in Arkansas. And actually, it was a custom-made instrument, believe it or not, because the traditional sound holes on them have either hearts or flowers. And I said, I wanted F holes. So the $65 that I would have spent for a plain one back then, which is now probably about $350, I had to pay an extra $5 to have them cut custom sound holes.
What is an F hole versus a flower? I mean, why the F?
It's just a little more traditional. It's the kind of hole that you'd see on some of the jazz guitars and on a violin. And in sticking with that sort of violin-y theme.
Yes.
Now, the traditional ones like this have these friction pegs. It's a tapered peg. And sometimes if things expand and contract, I'll be playing here, pew, 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 as the thing unwinds by itself. They do make modern geared tuners, excuse me, that you can put on there.
Now, what type of music, what genre, what era of music would you play when playing the dulcimer?
Anything you want. See, that to me is the beauty of music.
Play a holiday song, because I think of Christmas when I think of the dulcimer.
Do you really? See, I think of the auto harp.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
I don't know what an auto harp is.
Well, that's our next program. What name a holiday song?
But I think of like Silent Night or something like that, or.
See, that's how simple you'd get on something like this. I did 5 programs for summer camp kids on the Eastern Shore last month, and I have this list of songs that I play on the dulcimer, and I tell them, shout out, this is the only time you can shout out.
Right.
Shout out what you think the song is, and I'll play things like. They had no clue as to what Frere Jacques. They had absolutely no idea. So I'm playing all different songs, like
Stayed at the London Bridge. Now, what age children were these?
Anywhere from kindergarten up to junior high school.
So the lesson is they're not learning the old.
They're not getting it from their parents.
Yeah, that's too bad.
Would you like to try this?
No. Okay, I will.
Yeah, I knew you would.
No.
I knew you would.
I'll tell you, I play
play
piano, but I don't play well.
Well, you know what? Do you enjoy what you do?
I
I'll
love it.
help you hold it because sometimes
Okay.
it gets a little wobbly when you.
What am I going to play?
What would you like to play? What's on our song list here?
I don't even know how to play it.
Well,
But this is easy to learn.
it is easy to learn.
Where's-
And play
where's the
around with the
G string?
frets. Yeah, start with the double ones that are closest to your body there.
These two?
Yeah.
Okay.
And strum all the way
all the way.
across.
It sounds like
And then move your fan down.
Oh, that sounds better. No, there's something wrong with that note. I'm going to play Smoke on the Water. I'm going to let you play because
then turn it over and play Inagata Davida. Right?
That's right. I think
Now I'm dating
what's
myself.
so great, what's so great about this though is that it is something that somebody can pick up and learn.
Yeah, it is very simple because basically all you're playing is a melody string when you
Mm-hmm.
start out. You're not getting into things like double strings and,
Right.
and harmonies and things like that. So
Now, who would accompany you if you were in a band and you were playing this? What other instruments would be a
Well,
part
it really
of this?
depends. I mean, it's wide open. I've seen them played in Celtic bands.
Yes.
It's an American instrument being played in a Celtic band. And I've had a lot of people over the years, and I played in some Cayleys,
Oh, I love Kaylee's.
some sessions, Irish sessions, and I brought an oboe in once to
Okay.
play, and they're like, "You can't play that here. It's not a traditional Irish instrument." I said, "First of all, you're playing a mandolin, and that's an Italian instrument, so don't get me started."
Don't mess with Caryl.
I said, but the other thing too is if you listen carefully to the oboe, and you like Irish music,
I like Scottish music, Celtic. I like Irish music.
yeah, okay, but you get the reeds of the pipes, the alien pipes or the
Right.
bagpipes,
Right.
and because you have this long ebony tube, you get the sound of the ebony sound from the flute. So it's really two instruments in one
Nice.
because you get that
Nice.
reedy sound too with it.
Yeah.
So to me, you can play any instrument, and part of the fun of playing music is doing the arrangements where you take an instrument out of its normalcy and put it in somewhere else.
Okay.
Putting drums on a folk album, people have screamed you can't do that. We used to do Stan Rogers' sea songs with a pedal steel guitar, with a little country sound. Like,
See?
you can't do that. I
Yeah,
said,
but if somebody hadn't
Stan's
done rock-
rolling over in his grave, I said, no, he's not. He's going, where are my royalties?
There you go. I know, right. If you didn't have somebody, do rockabilly, then, I mean, look at that. Put rock and roll with hillbilly. I mean, it just became, an overnight
The
success.
London Philharmonic played with the Rolling Stones or
Sure.
the Beatles or something,
Absolutely, absolutely.
So
Well, what if you were to recommend an instrument for me,
Mm-hmm.
knowing my personality, what would you recommend that I play, knowing that I already play piano?
Bagpipes.
Me too.
Or alien, or the
so.
alien pipes, the
Okay.
small ones that you play with the bellows.
Uh-huh. I always wanted to be the drummer so I could spin the things, boom,
You could do
boom,
that
and
too.
then
There traditionally are not women in bagpipe bands, and it has nothing to do with musicianship. I found out why. When you march in a bagpipe band, one of the things the judges looks for is the swish of the hips to make sure that all of the kilts are moving in the same way, and men walk differently
Yes,
from women.
interesting.
So if you see a bagpipe band in a traditional setting, maybe not by today's modern standards over here, but what they'll do is they'll put the women on the inside so they're surrounded by men so they can't see the women's kilts swishing, they just see the men's on the outside.
Isn't that something? Learn something new every day.
Just
Well, I
learn.
want to learn something new. I want you to, you brought, I just want to learn something today, so you teach me
Well,
whatever
you
you
know,
think I should
Rhonda,
learn.
I have an instrument that you have at home that you probably didn't even realize you have at home. In fact, you have a bunch of them at home. And I'm going to
thinking
teach
to
you how to
myself-
play. I have a lot of people say, I don't have any musical instruments. I can't play an instrument. I have taught this instrument here in town to kids 3 years old and kids 85 years old. And
Okay.
today you're going to learn at 29.
Oh, good. I like the age, too.
Okay.
29.
And what we have,
And she brought, oh, no kidding.
when I teach the kids, I use these really nice McDonald's spoons. One of the managers gave me a case of them. They're very hard, so they make a good sound.
Oh,
the softer
good.
ones kind of don't.
I was going to say,
So
how do you know that I have plastic spoons?
I'm gonna give you a pair, and I'm gonna take a pair.
All right.
There you go.
Thank you.
Now the whole trick, the basic trick to learning to play the spoons is holding them.
All right.
Once you master that, the rest is a piece of cake. So what you want to do is put the bowls back to back
Okay.
and put your middle finger in the middle here. And what I like to do is press down on the upper spoon with my middle finger and on the lower spoon with my ring finger and press them into your hand. Now you want to make sure you have a little bit of space in between.
Okay.
Now press in, make a nice tight fist. Don't draw blood.
No.
Now, the concentration on here is to keep holding them tightly so when you go like this, they don't waffle back and forth.
Okay.
Once you forget about that and let it go, then you lose the spoons. So make sure you always have a nice tight grip. Again, your middle finger's pressing the upper spoon down, your ring finger on the other one, and make a nice fist and keep that little space in the middle there.
Okay.
Now,
I'm just wondering how they're going to connect, to be very honest,
now
since I'm holding this so tight.
you're playing with your right hand, so what you're going to do is cross over onto your left knee.
Oh, okay.
Basically, you're playing the spoons now. But we're
Yes,
going to
I
get a little
am.
more involved in that.
Okay.
Okay? So, oh my goodness, she's so quick. She
It's
learned in 20
amazing.
seconds.
I know.
What you're going to do is take your left hand,
Okay.
put it about 6 inches over your knee, and don't move it. Don't move that left hand. And then you're going to move the spoons up and down.
Okay.
Okay, you can go real fast. You can go real slow.
See what I did?
See,
Yeah.
that's what I said. If you lose the concentration, you'll lose the spoons. So make sure you keep that tight, tight fist. Okay? And then you can get into different patterns, like I like 2 down and 1 up, like. See how fun that is? So there are
I gotta
different
be
patterns
watching
you can
though.
do. All right, so you've had spoons playing 102 now.
Thank
Now
you.
we're going to get into the really serious part of playing, and it goes like this. Take your left hand, put your pinky on your knee, spread your fingers straight out, and then you're going to lift your hand up about 1 inch and turn your thumb outbound. And you want to have your pinky pointed down towards, okay? And you're not going to move that hand.
Okay.
See, I've got mine resting right here on the armrest of the chair.
Okay.
You're going to roll them down. And that's probably the hardest part right there.
My spoons are going sideways.
You'll be able to master this, trust me.
Okay.
All right, now you're losing your grip.
Yeah.
A nice tight grip.
I know.
There you go.
Okay.
And see, my pinky isn't touching my hand, so I get that last one down there.
Okay.
And that's pretty cool.
That is cool.
Okay? Now there's one last thing that I'm going to teach you now that you've mastered 1, 2, and 3.
Okay.
And you're going to do the same thing, but you're going to just rotate your hand back and forth like this. So your hand isn't moving up and down, it's just rolling back and forth.
Oh, I like that.
Then you can play a little traditional American thing that goes like.
How about if I just do this part and you do that part? I'm a Yankee Doodle Dandy. Oh, I don't know why I wanted to sing that, but it kind of fits,
Very
doesn't
American.
it? It
Look
kind of
at her
fits.
go, man. She's
But
a
I love
natural.
that. I want to do something where you really go to town,
yeah, I'll
but
show
I'll
you
just
that.
do the background.
This is the other thing. Spoons are made out of
Metal,
ore,
steel, silver, plastic,
or.
wood.
That's the one that always gets
Looks
people.
like there's
And
gotta
you're
be
going to
one.
get a different kind of a sound out of each material.
Okay.
So you're going to get a nice click with your metal. You're going to get more of a clunk with your wooden spoons.
Okay.
And get a little bit of a clack. And also the size of the spoon makes a difference too.
Okay.
We have teaspoons, we have soup spoons, we have those big serving spoons. I didn't bring serving spoons, but if you listen to this and hear where that note is.
Right.
And then you take something like a soup spoon, which is a little bit thicker and a little bit bigger. So it's a little
higher.
Yeah. Well, on these they are. They should be a little bit deeper. So you're going to get these different sounds depending on the size of the spoon and the material that it's made out of. And you can have a whole orchestra. Oh, let's hear the wood section. You know, those big wooden serving spoons that you use for salads. Now, kids, I got to tell you, don't steal the silverware out of the house. I mean, ask mom. And what I do with these, and a lot of my friends do, is they go over to Goodwill.
Yes.
And they buy spoons for 10 cents a piece. You find a matching set. You've got a musical instrument for 20 cents.
Wow. That's wonderful.
And you've helped Goodwill out, too.
Absolutely.
So if you want to get a band going in your a spoon band going in your school, or you want to get the percussion section of your school band going, you want to do some spoons, just run over to some place like Goodwill and pick up some spoons for them, then you have your own.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. All right, let's go over what we learned today.
All right. Now, actually, if
On the
a
plastic
family is
ones, I mean.
watching this with us, we're going to give them 1 second to run to the drawer, grab some spoons, because this is fun. Or TiVo us right now, and then you can come back to it. Okay.
And you've learned a musical instrument in what? Less than 10 minutes.
I know.
So that's the fun thing about it. So here, these are your plastic spoons.
Those do sound good.
And they do sound very different. Don't mangle on them or you're going to break them.
Okay.
So you get different sounds. So basically you've learned how to hold the spoons.
Yep.
your basic rhythm there, and then an up and down, and then your roll, and then you roll with a little click with your thumb over.
My roll isn't going as good as it was
Well,
before.
that's a hard thing to do.
Okay.
But you'll be doing this all afternoon. You won't get any work done, I can promise.
That's right.
Okay, so you're ready to rock
Mr.
and roll.
Mayor, I'm practicing.
Okay, that's right. We're doing creative things here.
Okay.
So I'm going to put my little capo on my little banjo, and we'll play a traditional American fiddle tune for you.
Okay.
After we tune up.
Shape up. I suppose there's a story about shaping up and shipping out too that you know.
That's right.
But today we're just going to tune up.
That's right. And then we'll do a whole nother show just on the sea shanties and
I know,
sea lore and folklore and fake lore.
Because I want to hear more about that. Okay.
Okay, are you ready, Rhonda?
What am I just doing this?
You do. This is a free form, so you can do the hit up and down, the roll, and the roll with a little click over or whatever.
Okay, I'm ready,
Boy,
baby.
she's a natural.
I am ready, baby. Except I'm losing my grip.
Oops.
I'm doing worse than you are.
I don't have the right glasses on. Ah, come on, fingers. Oh, thank you.
That way we can do it all in one picture. You know, it kind of hurts your hands a little bit. Yay!
I've seen a guy play on his face, play
Ow.
on his neighbor's head, you know, so you have to be careful that you don't hurt yourself.
But that was
and
actually-
don't do this with forks.
No, and this was actually very fun. I got to say, I got kind of excited, though, so I was hitting myself a little harder, I think, than you're supposed to.
I saw
But
a
this is
guy
great.
who plays with the Marine Band, and actually he's an outrageous concertina player. I met him up at Mystic Seaport at their Sea Music Festival in June, and he plays down in this area.
Okay.
And he put out a YouTube. They had him on YouTube with his little Celtic band. He's wailing away, and he's beating himself on the face with it and everything, and he's
Wow.
very, very good.
Well, as she said, do not try this at home, children. that
No,
part
try
of
it
it,
at
try
home,
this,
just-
not that part. What if somebody wanted to get in touch with you, because I have to assume that you are for hire as well as just for fun.
Well, yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
I do house concerts and schools and festivals and museums and all kinds of stuff. So you can go on my website and hear the different kinds of musics that I've played throughout the year. And there's some examples of different kinds of music, and there's a place where you can contact me. And
Good. And what's that website?
www.carylpweiss.com. That's CARYLPWEISS.
Oh, I almost put an E. Do it
Did you put
again. Do it again.
CARYL. Oh, you got to go back to back.
Oh my gosh, I was all excited. Okay, start
Okay,
again.
ready?
Yeah, go.
And a 1 and a 2 and a 3. www.CARYL.
Go faster.
WEISS.com.
You'll get it. We'll put it right here at the bottom of the screen.
Okay.
But let's go ahead and take, as they say, I've always wanted to do this, as long as I've been doing television, I've always wanted to say, well, let's take them out with a little song, shall we? So let's play one more for the road.
Sure.
And what are we going to play?
I don't know. I have no idea.
Something like On the Road Again,
Oh my goodness.
you know, because we're traveling on the road.
You caught me off
What
guard.
do you think? No, you come up with the song. I'm not, I mean, you're the one that has 500 years of
I
song.
I do.
You know it. See?
Oh,
Look
and
at
I
that.
got one just for you.
Yay.
I got one just for you, and it's got a chorus.
So I have to sing and play?
Well, no.
That's why
All
we're
you have to
sending you
do
out
is
with us.
all you have to do is shout out.
I can shout out.
Can you shout out?
I can shout out. Okay,
When
wait.
I sing, it's all part of being a pirate.
Okay.
You shout, a pirate, a pirate. I just got a pirate in my eye. Been
A
long day.
pirate, a pirate. Okay, I'm ready.
Okay, you got that, or do we need to rehearse?
I'm ready.
Okay.
I'm excited.
Oh, it's in the key of O.
Oh.
Oh, being a pirate is all fun and games till somebody loses an eye. It's things like the blazes, it makes you make faces. You can't let your mate see you cry.
Wait, that was my big part and I missed it. Okay, go.
A shiny black patch will cover the hash and make sure that your socket stays dry. Being a pirate is all fun and games till somebody loses an eye.
An eye.
Oh, it's all part of being a pirate.
A pirate, a pirate.
A pirate. with all of your parts. Oh, it's all part of being a pirate.
A pirate, a pirate, a
You can't
pirate.
be a pirate with all of your parts.
Keep going. Don't forget to go to her
Oh,
website.
being a
And
pirate is
we'll see you
all
back
fun and
here on
games
All
till
Around
somebody
Annapolis.
loses an ear.
Until then, enjoy it. We'll
It
see you
drips down your
soon.
neck, then it falls on the deck till someone says, "Hey, what's this here?" You can't wear your glasses, you can't pull the lasses, and folks have to shout so you'll hear. Being a pirate is all fun and games till somebody loses an ear. Oh, it's all part of being a pirate.
Pirate, a pirate, a
You can't be
pirate.
a pirate with all of your parts. Oh, it's all part of being a pirate.
A pirate, a pirate,
You
a
can't be a
pirate.
pirate with all of your parts.